Bismillah Rahman Rahim, Rahmat Alam, by Sayyid Suleiman Nadwi, Muhammad, peace be upon him, Mercy for the Universe, translated by Air of Luther, Chapter 43, the last phase of Prophet Muhammad Wasallam's life. The Prophet had to remain on this earth till the perfection of the mission and removal of darkness from the earth with the effulgence of God. When the mission was finalized, the message was received by him to come back to the Lord. The mission had been perfected after the completion of the last Hajj. He had conveyed to companions the last revelation. 2 months thereafter, he went to the graves of the martyrs of Uhud campaign and prayed for them all and bid them farewell as a dying man bids farewell to his relatives. He delivered a brief address. I am going to the Kausar spring before you. It is very wide as Ayla to Jaffa. I have been given the keys of the whole world. I do not fear that you would become infidels thereafter, but this much, I fear that you may not cut each other's throat for material gain. If you act like that, you will perish as the people of the old had been annihilated. After visiting the martyrs' graves, the Prophet went to the Jannatul Baqi. It was night of Safar, 11th age. He invoked God's blessings on the departed companions. He was feeling headache. It was Wednesday. He had to be with Hazrat Maimuna that night. He lived with his wives during the period of his sickness as per routine. On Monday, the sickness became severe. He got permission of his wives to live at the residence of Hazrat Aisha. He was too weak to walk. Hazrat Abbas and Hazrat Ali supported him to the house of Hazrat Aisha. The Prophet used to say his prayer in congregation so long as he could move. The last prayer he offered was of the evening. Time for night prayer approached. He asked the companions if the prayer had been offered. They said that all were waiting for him. He had a bath again. He wanted to rise up, but he became unconscious. After a bit relief, he again inquired if the prayer had been offered. The same reply was given by the companions. He took bath again and wanted to get up, but he fell down unconscious. Regaining his strength, he asked the same question and was given the same reply. This happened 3 times. When he was unable to stand up and lead the congregation prayer, he said, "Let Abu Bakr lead the daily service of prayer." 4 days before breathing his last, he felt some relief. At noon, he took his bath with water filled in 7 goat skins. With the support of Hazrat Abbas and Hazrat Ali, he came to the mosque. The people were standing in rows to offer their prayer. Hazrat Abu Bakr, after coming to know of the arrival of the Prophet, receded, but he was stopped by the Prophet. He sat by his side. The Prophet gave a brief sermon. One of the slaves of God had been given the choice to either choose God's blessings of this worldly life or that what God has kept on high, but he chose the company of the high. After hearing this, Hazrat Abu Bakr began to weep, for he had understood that slave was Muhammad, peace be upon him. The Holy Prophet eulogized the services rendered by the Ansar and said, "The Muslim population will go on increasing and number of Ansar will go on decreasing till as salt in flour. They have done their duty. Now you have to do your duty. They are like a stomach in my body. Whose may take up the service of Islam? I say that you should treat them with a merciful heart." The way to infidelity, shirk, was the worst. The Prophet removed all doubts. Lawful and unlawful should not be ascribed to me. I have made a thing lawful as declared by God, and unlawful as has been revealed to me by God. Without deeds, there is no privilege for a person of any genealogy. So he said, "O ye Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet of God, O ye Safiya, the aunt of the Prophet of God, do whatever you can do with the God. I cannot save you from God." Then he came to the room of Hazrat Aisha. The Jews and Christians had enhanced the honor and glory of the grave of their prophet and saints to the point of idol worship. The Prophet of Islam had this in mind, that his grave might not be worshipped like that. Some of the wives of the Prophet had seen the Christian churches during their migration to Habasha, and they spoke of the images worshipped by the Christians. The Prophet said, "When a Christian dies and he had been righteous and pious, his tomb is made a place of worship, and Christians carve his image for worship. Such people on the day of resurrection will be severely dealt with." The Prophet felt distressed sometimes and put a sheet of cloth on his face. Sometimes he removed it when he felt relief. He spoke in a low voice. The Jews and Christians may be accursed that they have made the graves of their prophets as places of worship. He thought of some gold coins kept with Hazrat Aisha and ordered her to give them in alms. Should Muhammad, peace be upon him, meet his Lord hesitatingly? The sickness was not steady, now less, now severe. When the Prophet breathed his last, he seemed to be quite healthy apparently. In the morning he took aside the door curtain and saw people in prayers. He smiled and said, "Such a people have been born who would be an example of the Prophet to worship God." The people heard some voice and thought of his coming to the mosque. They were very happy. They were to discontinue their prayers. Hazrat Abu Bakr, who was leading the prayer, thought of vacating the place of Imam for the Prophet. The Prophet asked him to continue it. He went back into the room and dropped the curtain with great difficulty, for he was very weak. It was the last occasion when the Muslims had seen him. Time was on its wings. The Prophet's unconsciousness was noticed. Hazrat Fatima, witnessing the state of displeasure, said, "What a distressing condition of my father." He heard it and said, "Your father will never be distressed after this day." In the third part of the day, the Prophet felt gurgling sound of his breath. The sacred lips moved. The people heard him saying, "Show good behavior in prayers and to slaves." He raised up his finger thrice and said, "There is no God but God, who is the best companion," and his hands lowered down. His eyes became still towards the roof. The soul left his body. The companions in Medina streets were heard weeping and crying. Everything seemed to them enveloped by darkness. Similar was the condition everywhere. Hazrat Umar had unsheathed the sword and said, "Who says that the Prophet has died? I would cut his head." Hazrat Abu Bakr saw him in such a condition and understood that that state could be a cause of ignorance. He occupied the pulpit and delivered a sermon. If anyone worship Muhammad, peace be upon him, he must know that he has left this world. And if anyone worship the Lord of Muhammad, peace be upon him, then he is alive because God is above death. Then he recited, "Muhammad is but an envoy, the like of whom have passed away before him. Will it be that when he dieth or is slain, will you turn back on your heels? He who turneth back doth no hurt to God, and God will reward the thankful." The people heard this verse of the Holy Quran. They realized as if that verse was revealed at that very particular time. This verse was now on the lips of every Muslim. The Holy Prophet breathed his last on Monday in the afternoon in the month of Rabiul Awwal. It is generally said that it was Rabiul 12, but research of some people shows Rabiul 1. The burial ceremony was held on Tuesday. It was performed by his relatives Hazrat Fazl bin Abbas and Hazrat Ali. Hazrat Usama, the son of Hazrat Zaid, the freed slave, gave him wash. Hazrat Abbas too was present. He was buried in the same room where he breathed his last, that is, in Hazrat Aisha's room. Now that is the blessed tomb of the Prophet. Jazakallah. Narrated by Sabeen Abbas. May Allah guide us on the right path. Ameen. Jazakallah. Don't forget to subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the updates till next time. Thank you.